Good morning. Whew, is this a misprint? Like, is this in the gospel? Is the gospel? Be perfect? Love your enemies? Ugh, it's no fun. I had a friend in seminary who said, if people get a little disturbed by the church's teaching on, and I've said this before in homilies, but like, people get disturbed at the Catholic teaching on contraception, wait till they hear the part about love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Like, yeesh. But this is what the power of following Jesus facilitates in this world. Or in a way, I want to say it's worthless, but it's less than interesting. If we were simply following a gospel that was sort of a discernible exercise in human relations, that was ordered to success, that was sort of natural for the heart, it wouldn't be a supernatural faith. But it is. We believe that death doesn't win. We believe that death doesn't win. We believe that resurrection occurs, not due to our own power, but due to His. And because we trust that, we aren't as overwhelmable in the face of evil done against us. We, with God's help, can pray for those who are persecuting us and love them. Doesn't mean having them over for dinner. Doesn't mean sending them a Christmas card. It means really desiring what's best for them. Love is ultimately this desire for the good of the other as other. The problem is with our enemies, we don't really want what's best for them. We often want them to be destroyed, and to be destroyed painfully. If we really have enemies, we may be perhaps less, I use the word destroyed, it may just some sort of legal action done against them or something like that, but we want them to be punished. We want it to be clear-cut. And they may get punished because they may have done something against us that deserves punishment. But the Lord wants us to love them. This isn't easy, but it's everything. And it may for you, it may for me start with not thinking too much about specific enemies. Like if you have a few enemies, if you perceive whether it's political or your neighbor, maybe your oldest son, perceiving them, I think he's out to get me. We may not want to ponder too much them specifically as we're praying for the grace of loving and praying for them. But ultimately, the Lord does permit us to care about our opponents specifically on a couple occasions over the past 10 years. In the political sphere, candidates for office have spoken about how there was prayer in their home for their opponents in very dark and intense rivalrous contests. And in both cases, and I bring them up specifically, I want to tarnish the ultimate goal here, which is to let it happen in our lives. In both occasions, I was really struck. I was moved by this. And it was really their children who must have listened to some of this stuff and believed it, who brought to the fore this praying for enemies. Do we believe this? Well, we may not believe it as thoroughly as we would like, but strengthened by today's Eucharist, we want to ask for the grace to be living this most difficult but most evident of this supernatural faith we proclaim of commands, to love our enemies so that we might be perfect as our Heavenly Father is perfect.